I am Mariko Thomas, and I was just going to share a story about, well, the prompt that you all were talking about made me think of one of the first teachers who really, I think, kind of flipped the way that I thought about nature. And I was in a doctorate program for environmental communication, so I was I know about relationships, but I think I knew about them really theoretically, and this person did this for me in a really material way. And so there's a lot of lead up to the story that you don't really need to know, including I was living off grid with a boy and no water, and we were on the mesa in New Mexico, which is a desert, and it's just thorns and coyotes and ridiculousness up there. And yeah, so all of that was pretty nuts. But I lived next to this woman named Jill, which is not her real name because she has a lot of shotguns, and if she ever heard me talk about her in the world, I feel she's just an insanely private person. But anyways, so she was this old woman who had lived a million different lives before, and New Mexico tends to attract people who are trying to disappear from something because it's a really low population state, and the mesa just kind of swallows things up. And I feel it's something about how it used to be an ocean and then it's a desert, so it's almost like an ocean graveyard already, so it's got this spook factor to it. Anyways, so I started hanging out with her, and she had all these practices that she just did on the regular. She'd burn juniper to smoke the house, and then there's this plant called kota, which is sometimes known as Indian tea, but it's just this flower that grows on the side of the roads. It really likes disturbed areas, and when it started to bloom, she sent me out with a plastic bag and was go take the kota, and then she slapped a bunch of tobacco in my hands, and she's and you say thank you every time you take it. And so I did that, and I was kind of enamored with her, obviously, because I was I met a witch, and so I went out and did all the sharing of the tobacco, and it was really performative at first, but then by the fifth or sixth time I did it, I was oh, I get it, this is actually where the communication is taking place, because you're setting down you're giving the thing, you're getting the thing. There's this balance and reciprocity, and it's not a super original story. I feel a lot of people have had that moment, but for me that was the first oh, this isn't a theory, this is the thing, and so then we took the kota back to her house, and she showed me how to curl it up and dry it for tea. And I'm making her sound like this super spiritual person, and she was really a little bit insane, honestly, a bit frightening, really unpredictable. But she was kind of the first person who kind of was no, you do this, and it's just non-negotiable. And so yeah, I think that's something that I've carried with me and developed a pretty intense herbal practice since then, and just made me think more about where I step, what I touch, what I pick, all those things. So yeah, thank you, Jill. Not your real name.
No. That's awesome. Thank you.
That is a really great story.